So ever since the 2012-2013 season, the New York Knicks have been pretty much a joke as a franchise, with moments from the Phil Jackson era, or the blockbuster Kristaps Porzingis trade, which then led to the KD, Kyrie, and Zion rumors in 2019, and obviously, we know how that went down. But ever since Leon Rose took over as the president of basketball operations for this franchise, things have slowly been changing for the better. And yes, there have been criticisms of Leon Rose and the front office during his tenure so far, but for the most part, it's been going better than every other Knicks front office regime in recent history. The Knicks made the playoffs in 2021 for the first time since their 54-win season in 2013, led by Carmelo Anthony, and the front office has also made some pretty good draft choices in Emmanuel Quickley and Obi Toppin in 2020, and then Quentin Grimes, Deuce McBride, and Jericho Sims in the 2021 draft. But throughout all of this, the plan this front office has for this team's future has been made pretty clear, and that is to acquire talent via trade or free agency, as the Knicks have been stockpiling assets for these past two seasons to potentially make that big move that can kickstart the Knicks' road to contention in the near future. And it's not a bad idea for the Knicks to do this, considering the market advantage that they have by playing in New York, playing in Madison Square Garden. Even though it hasn't worked in the past for this organization specifically, obviously it has worked for other big market teams with healthy cultures in the past, teams like the Lakers with LeBron and AD, the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George, and then obviously the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and trading for James Harden in 2021. And now this seems to be a good time for the Knicks to try this, because their culture in previous years had been so toxic, and understandably so, many big names had avoided playing for the organization due to these reasons. But ever since Leon Rose and company took over, it has given the Knicks this more healthy and hard-working culture that they haven't had in such a long time. And everything that I just mentioned earlier is exactly why they are the likely favorites to trade for Donovan Mitchell before training camp begins in September. But besides all of this, even if the Knicks don't trade for Donovan Mitchell, when you look at their current roster, the future is still pretty bright, with guys like Obi, Grimes, Quickley, Jalen Brunson, who they signed in free agency about 3 weeks ago, Mitchell Robinson, who signed the first Knicks contract extension after a rookie deal since Charlie Ward did it back in 1994. Then obviously we have the main piece of this whole young core, the thing that really makes this Knicks franchise look forward for the future, and that is RJ Barrett, who has made major strides this past season, becoming a 20-point per game scorer for the first time in his young NBA career at just 21 years old, and heading into his fourth season, has the chance to potentially become an all-star caliber player and a big leader for this team. He's also eligible for a contract extension right now as well, but we'll see what happens and what the Knicks do with that. And then lastly, if the Knicks can bring in a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who would be the best Knicks since Carmelo Anthony is only 25 years old and is just getting started in his prime, that would be the first big, gutsy, blockbuster move in the Leon Rose regime. And that can officially put the Knicks back on the clock on their road to one day becoming a title contending team, as a Donovan Mitchell move would be just the first major move of many for this organization if it goes through. So if you're a Knicks fan, like me for example, or many others that are in the United States or in the world, you can be happy for this team's future. And you know, there's a lot of people right now that are like, oh, they need to make the Donovan Mitchell trade, and if they don't, then it's same old Knicks. Well, no, they're not. This is an organization that is finally getting healthy. People look at this organization and say, okay, this is a team that is one day gonna get back to being a one day great organization. But right now, they're in that rebuilding stage after basically being a joke for almost a decade, even more than a decade if you want to really say, except for the little years here and there with Carmelo Anthony where they made the playoffs. But besides that, a lot of that has been a joke for this franchise, and to finally see the Knicks making positive steps in the right direction, it's good to see, not just for Knicks fans, not just for the Knicks, not just for New York, but for the NBA in general. I mean, look at the NBA world, the NBA community when the Knicks made the playoffs in the 2021 season. It was fun. It was fun for everybody. It was fun for the people that like to clown the Knicks. It was fun for the people that enjoyed seeing the Knicks go on that little run. It's good for the game of basketball, and right now the Knicks are on that road to one day being a contending team. Now, will it take some time, even if they do make a Donovan Mitchell trade? It probably will. But at least you can say that the organization is in a better place than it was even just 3 years ago, as the Knicks are now a healthy, and I can say now officially, a pretty good organization unless they screw it up, which with the Knicks, that's one thing you gotta worry about. Anyways, that's gonna do it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Link will be down in the description below. This has been a checkup where we talk hoops and hoops only, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.